My name is Ryan Deiss. I think it's important always to understand kind of the perspective and the bias of the person that you're hearing from so that you can sort of filter what I say through my lens and understand where I'm going with some of this stuff. So I've launched and started a number of different companies. My first one from my college dorm room in 1999, I was buying ads on GoTo.com when it first came out and then became Overture and then became Yahoo. My first growth hack was when I was just owning Alta Vista back in the day. This is pre-Google. Do you guys even know what Alta Vista is? A couple of you? Okay, good. Like, holy crap. So back then, you could just put a whole bunch of your keywords in the bottom of the page, and here was the big hack, right? You made the words the same color as the background. So I've been doing this stuff for a while, but every company that I've started, we've taken no venture money. Not that I'm not wholly opposed to the idea. If anybody wants to give me money, I'll take it. But in general, I didn't I'm in Austin, Texas, and so, when I first got started, when I was 19, there wasn't as many people handing out as much money in 1999 to 19-year-olds as there are today. So everything I've done has been started from the money in my pocket, grown out of cash flow. Okay, so that's the perspective. Now, at digitalmarketer.com, we sell digital marketing trainings and certifications, but all these trainings and certifications were originally created to train our own team across all of our different companies, right? And we have companies selling everything from survival knives and tactical pens and crossbows to makeup brushes to industrial water filters. Okay, so we sold a lot of different stuff. And so what I'm talking about, just know that it applies to B2B, B2C, online, offline, because all of us guys, we're just humans selling to other humans. Screw B2B, screw B2C, it's H to H. That's where this stuff is going. So I want you to begin thinking, what we're really mostly focusing on is how do we get conversational with our marketing? How do we have messaging that actually engages and intersects with the conversations that are already taking place in the market? This is exactly what James just referred to when he said start with the message. So I want to give you kind of a platform and a framework to do just that. So how to pre-engineer ideal sales conversations. It's kind of a fancy way of how do we get our customers to say this, right? How many of you have seen this meme? New product comes out, everybody's like, shut up and take my money. Recently, I had this experience. Nintendo is releasing their like old school Nintendo NES that has like every old school Nintendo game on it. Have you guys seen this? It's like they're selling me my childhood in an 8x8 box. It's amazing. And I saw this thing, I'm like, screw it, here, take it all, right? I want you to have it. And this has got to be the goal. As marketers, this has to be the goal. So I've never been a great salesperson, but I've been a good marketer, and that's made up for a lot of flaws on the sales side, because I believe that your goal as a marketer, especially as a growth marketer, should be to make selling superfluous. In a perfect world, and this is oftentimes required if you're in B2C or in a lower LTV business, you can't afford to have salespeople on the phone closing people. I was talking to a guy over here on the break. He's wanting to sell hand towels, like custom hand towels. Onesie, twosie at a time. You're not going to get somebody on the phone to close a $20 hand towel deal, right? So you need marketing to do the heavy lifting. You need marketing, ideally, to achieve this effect on behalf of your people, okay? So we're going to talk about how to do this. We're also going to talk about this.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
Yes. Anybody seen this movie? Tell me, please. Don't make me feel that freaking old. All right. Marriage is indeed what brings us together today. Specifically, this part of marriage, the proposal part. The proposal. Now, I submit to you that if you do a good job, the sales process should feel a lot like a wedding proposal. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, what do I mean by that? How many of you guys have proposed? And it worked, okay? Sometimes it doesn't, right? We see these things, dude goes all out, like gets the, Jane, will you marry me? Like on the stadium, and she's like, oh, hell no, right? But that's a problem, right? That's a big issue for multiple reasons, not the least of which that poor bastard. But how many of you, when you did propose, I'm sure you were nervous, You're probably really, really nervous, right? It was a big moment in your life. You had to be a little bit terrified. I know I was. But while you might have been nervous about what was happening, were you really nervous about what the answer was going to be? Anybody in here, were you sitting there, you're like down on one knee, ring up, you're like, oh, will you marry me? And wondering, holy crap, I have no idea what he or she is going to say, right? Was the answer in doubt? Okay, was the answer in doubt? I submit to you that your goal as marketers, as people engineering growth in the company, should be to, when it comes to the sales part, the answer is no longer in doubt. And just like, I hope that if you had a good friend, it's like, hey, I'm proposing to my girlfriend tonight. Cool. Didn't you guys just start dating like last week? Yeah, man. But I'm a great guy. I'm the one. I know, look at me. I'm astoundingly great looking. I have a nice car. I don't live with my mom. I've got everything that any woman would ever want. Why wouldn't she say yes to me? The product is amazing. Why wouldn't they say yes to me? Now, if your friend said that to you, what would you say to them? You are a special kind of stupid, right? Don't do that crap. Okay? Don't do that. You might ask, what do you think she's going to say? I don't really know. I don't know. Hope she says yes. Well, God, I would think so, right? And yet we do this to our customers all the time, don't we? We do this to our customers all the time. We assume that just because we know that they want what we have to offer, we know that we're the real deal. That just because that reality might exist, that they're ready for it now. Okay? This is a writer downer. Just because your market wants what you have to offer, okay, just because your market wants what you have to offer, that doesn't mean that they know they want it, at least not yet. Just because your market wants what you have to offer, that doesn't mean that they want it, at least not yet. And that's true, right? And if I were to say, look, so I'm happily married. I married the first girl that was willing to talk to me. So that worked out. So 4 kids and 14 years later, things are good. But let's say I'm single, right? I'm single and I'm like, hey, I'm a pretty good guy. I got what I think most women would want. Does that mean that I can fling open, the doors to a bar and be like, hey, ladies, you're welcome. I have arrived. Does it mean that I can do what a lot of you skeezy guys are doing on Tinder and be like, hey, right? You're welcome, ladies. Giving you a preview of the goods, right? I've got a name for that type of offer a little bit later that I'm going to talk to you about. No, okay? You can have the greatest product in the world, but if you miss on the messaging, and specifically if you miss on the timing of when it's delivered, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work. Okay, so always think about these things in relation to human interaction. So let's think about, what is the ideal sales conversation when it comes time to marriage? Because that's what you're doing. When you're down on one knee, ring in the air, you're having a sales conversation. And the sales conversation, whether you realize it or not, is going something like this. Look, we've been spending a lot of time together. We've been spending a lot of time together. I love you and I think you love me. We've said that a bunch of times. I would like us to spend even more time together. Will you marry me so we can spend the rest of our lives together? That's essentially what you're saying. That is the ideal sales conversation, right? Now, what does this sales conversation presuppose? This is the audience participation point of the show. What does it presuppose? That they like you. Yeah, what else? The words are up there. We've been spending a lot of time together. Thank you. The sales conversation presupposes that you've been spending a lot of time together. So this is the formula for creating an ideal sales conversation. We first want to ask ourselves, what is the desirable preceding action to the sale? In this case, spending lots of time together, i.e. dating. It would be super creepy to propose marriage on a first date. I came close, right? I knew within 2 weeks of meeting my now wife that she was probably the woman that I was going to marry. The whole reason I started my first company was to buy her engagement ring. I knew that this was the woman that I wanted to marry, but I didn't tell her that because that's freaking creepy. right? We get that. You laughed, but you're doing it right now in your marketing, whether you realize it or not. So, desirable preceding action, spending lots of time dating. So, the obvious next step is marriage. It's the obvious next step. And that's the way that your sales process should feel. It should feel like, God dang, we've been doing all this stuff, therefore, let's do this thing. The sales shouldn't have to be closed. It shouldn't have to be like, always be closing. They should almost stumble and fall into the sale. It should feel natural. So here's the question you must answer. What is the preceding action that will ultimately lead your prospect to initiate an ideal sales conversation? What is the preceding action that will ultimately lead your prospect to initiate an ideal sales conversation? The idea of getting married was not first brought up by me. My wife my now wife, when we were dating, made me a mixtape. I remember when you'd do that, it was a mix CD, maybe a little mix CD. On this CD were songs like Going to the Chapel, right? Like, I get the hint, sweetie, right? She started the conversation. She initiated this whole crazy harebrained scheme of us getting together. That was her idea. Therefore, when it came time to ask her, her answer was not in doubt. It was her idea. I was there on my knee. It was her idea. Again, this is your job as a growth marketer. How do you get them to initiate this conversation? That's the goal. So to put it another way, you want to ask yourself, let's go grab some coffee. Let's go grab some coffee. What is that for you and your market? Let's go grab some coffee together. This is what is going, now it doesn't mean that just because you had coffee that you can be like, this was great, let's get married, right? Depending on the size of the ask, the longer the dating process needs to take place. That's why we all intuitively understand that the higher the price, the longer the sales cycle. Sales cycle? Dating. A sales cycle equals dating. If you're going to ask somebody, hey, you want to go, this was really nice, you want to go grab dinner sometime, that's a perfectly acceptable thing to say if you've just met for coffee and had a really nice conversation. So where does it begin? What is the preceding action that will lead to the next step? Preceding action that will lead to the next step. Now, I can tell you this ain't it. There is a place for demos. There is absolutely a place for demos. Just like I would argue, maybe not, there's a place for dick pics. Right? It's a dick pic. You're welcome. All right? Now, I might be able to get away with sending a pic of that nature to my wife. Again, married for 14 years, 4 kids. Might not surprise you to find out she has seen me naked. But 100% of the time she laughs, by the way. Because we just look ridiculous, guys. We're freaking ugly. Stop doing that. If you're doing that, ew. All right? Stop it. But this is what we're doing. It's too soon. It's too soon in the relationship. Just like if on our first date, if I'd give my wife a little pat on the booty, she'd have turned around and slapped me. She'd be well within her right to do that. I could do it today and get away with it, depending on the circumstance. Around her dad, no, that's freaking weird again, right? Sequence and proportion, always critical. So this isn't it. And yet this is where, you go to most websites, this is where most homepages, this is where they want to begin the conversation. It's where they want to start. How about a demo? What do you think? Right? What do you think? I know that's a little bit, but you're probably not going to forget it, right? So if a demo is not the desired preceding action, then what is? And it makes sense. Because what you're basically saying with the demo is, do you want to give me some of your time now in the hopes that you'll be able to give me even more time and more money in the future? It's quid pro quo. Give me some of your time now. I want to ask a little bit more in the future. You're not speaking at all to their desired end result. You're not speaking at all to what they might be interested in. You're only speaking to what you want to happen. And you're wondering why your demo sign-up rates are low. It's because you're asking for it too early in the relationship. It's another way to put it. Demo, first date. For our first date, I was thinking we could figure out the names for our children. Right? That's what you're doing when you flash up a demo. There's 2 things I want you to remember. The first thing is that it does hurt to ask. It does hurt to ask. If you offer a demo too soon and they say no, you just made it far less likely that they're going to say yes. in the future. Do you realize that? How often do we change our minds? Not very often. Even when we know we're wrong, we'll entrench, right? We'll entrench in a big way. So it does hurt to ask too soon. And also remember that getting the lead is not good enough. I attended a conference last month in this city that may or may not rhyme with Dreamforce, that I'm walking around the trade show, and somebody comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, can I see your badge? You know, if I scan your badge, then we're going to give $1 to charity for every badge that we scan." Like, "Oh, can I get it too?" Boop. And I'm like, "Okay, that was kind of molesty. Okay." Now they're calling me up saying, "Hey, I want to keep talking to you about our service." Right? Remember you came over here? But the desired preceding action wasn't just giving you my contact information. You took that. I didn't really want to give it to you. And the fact that I gave it to you does not suggest that I want to take the next step with you. That's like, "Hey, I did some Google search and I was able to find your address and then back into your cell phone number. So can we go on a date since I got your number?" Right? So just having a lead isn't enough. If the acquisition of the lead does not further the sales process, if the acquisition of the lead does not move them through the value journey, through the customer journey, there was no point in getting it in the first place. So how do you pre-engineer an ideal sales conversation? Here's the process. Number one, imagine, futurecast, what is your ideal sales conversation? Who's there? Where is it taking place? And this is the biggie, what are you talking about? I love what James was saying before when and most accelerators require their people do this. Go sell it. Go sell it. Where was the laydown? When did the laydown sale occur? When did the people go, "Oh, that was easy," right? Jim's talking about before. When they tried to go to customer success people, wasn't a laydown. They didn't get it. Go to SDRs, sales development reps, 9 out of 10. Boom. That was the laydown. So it helps if you've actually sold this before. So if I'm a roofer, let's get out of the digital space. If I'm a roofer, who is there? If I'm a roofer, I'm a roofing contractor, I want to replace roofs. Who do I want to be talking to? Homeowner. Someone who, has a roof. Where do I want to be talking to them? What's the location where this conversation would ideally be taking place? On their home, ideally standing on their roof. Whole. Bad. Me fix. You don't have to be a world-class salesperson to close that deal, right? You know that like dripping coming through the ceiling? Whole, bad, me fix, right? You can grunt your way through that sale, all right? And then what are you talking about? You're talking about the whole. So now, how do we engineer that conversation? Well, if I'm a roofing contractor, I could go out there and say, "Hey, we'll do free roof inspections," right? That's like a demo. No, what I want to do is say, at ABC Roofing, we offer free gutter cleaning services. We'd love to come out and clean your gutters. Now, why would I want to clean a gutter? I know I'm talking to a homeowner. I got no choice but to get on the roof. And as I'm climbing up the ladder, it's very simple for me to say, "Hey, since we're already up on the roof, you want us to do a quick inspection, make sure there's nothing going wrong?" That is a preceding action that would lead to the ideal sales conversation. So what is the desirable preceding action? You getting on their roof, presumably to clean their gutters out. You then want to create what we call entry point offers that funnel prospects into these desirable preceding actions. This entry point offer that I just said before would be gutter cleaning. Gutter cleaning is going to get me up there. There's more, but that's one. And then advertise and promote your new entry point offers and let the conversations begin. Our flagship product at Digital Marketer is called Digital Marketer HQ. We do trainings and certifications. We train marketing teams. Now, I had a hard time selling this in the beginning because I didn't know who the buyer was. So I went out at our event and I worked my own booth so I could have these sales conversations. And what I found is when people come up saying like, "Oh, I'm interested in getting trained," they wound up not closing. But when somebody came up to us and they said, "Hey, I'm taking over as CMO," or "I just took over this company and I need to build a team of marketers, I need to build an in-house digital marketing team," lay down all day long. So that's the ideal selling conversation. I need to build and equip my digital marketing team. How do I back into that? Hey, since you're planning to build and grow your internal digital marketing team, would you like to use our tools to streamline and automate the onboarding process? It's a logical progression if I know that they want to build a team. So here were some of the entry point offers that we came up with. We did hiring guides. A complete hiring kit for recruiting, selecting, and training a successful content marketer. Why? Because I know that if somebody's hiring a content marketer, they may want to train those people. Desirable preceding action. Hey, you just downloaded one of our hiring guides. So the obvious next step is, would you like to use our tools to train and onboard that person once you hire them? Do you see how the entry point offer presupposed and leads into the ideal selling conversation? All right? Because you did this, the next obvious step is this. That's not selling, that's consulting. Did the same thing with webinars. How to structure and build a modern digital marketing team. Hey, you just attended our webinar on how to build an in-house digital marketing team. Now that you know how to structure and organize your team, would you like to use our tools to train and onboard them? It's seamless. The desirable preceding action presupposed and led into the ideal sales conversation. We also launched a job board. You just posted an open digital marketing position on our job board. Would you like to use our tools to train and onboard that person once you hire them? We had a video series. Want to build a rockstar marketing team? Get the Modern Marketing Growth Plan. I walked through the video, and on the video I said, hey, so if you want our help doing this, schedule your call with us. If you've watched this, you'd like to maybe get our help, we'd love to help, schedule your call. Now that you know how to structure and organize your team, would you like to use our tools to train and onboard them? The entry point offer presupposes the next step. And it also allows us to follow up with really simple things like, hey, are you still looking to train your marketing team? That's a follow-up email marketing thing. It's 9 words. Are you still looking to train your marketing team? We got people saying, yeah, I'm interested. Really sorry for my lack of communication. They're apologizing to me. Why are they apologizing to me? Because they were the ones that started the conversation in the first place. You started this conversation. Do you want to pick it up? We got people sending us their phone numbers. Yes, please call me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I forgot to follow up. Yes, I'm interested in it. Kate Spade does this on Black Friday. They don't just give out a coupon code. They don't just run a sale. They say, enter the sale. Enter the sale. Give me your name and email address to enter the sale. Why? So that they can say, now that you've entered our Black Friday sale, why don't you put that discount code to good use with this amazing purse? Carpet cleaner. I'm giving you stuff that's very brick and mortar, very kind of local, because I want you to know it's humans, guys. You're just selling to humans. Now that you've had me remove that disgusting pee stain from your rug, why don't I just clean the rest of your carpet since I'm already here? Don't sell carpet cleaning. Remove stains. Clean the rest. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Want us to come pick up one of those old funky, CR cathode ray tube TVs? We'll do it for just $20. Hey, since we're already picking up this TV and since we already got this big truck and those 2 guys want us to haul off any more junk, they 6x'd the size of that franchise in 2 years through that one entry point offer. Through an entry point offer that set up a desirable preceding action that funneled seamlessly into an ideal sales conversation. Got me? Figure out the ideal sales conversation, back into the desirable preceding action, create offers that will engage with that action. Anything else you want us to haul off since we're already here? Remember, the job of marketing is not to close the sale. All right? The job of marketing is to start an ideal sales conversation. That is what you should be doing as growth marketers. Thank you very much. So what's your take on driving people to a landing page to get them to sign up for a demo in B2B? I love it. I love it after they've already signed up for something else so that you know what, hey, you should take this demo because I know that you're really interested in hiring a content marketer. Therefore, it makes sense to check out our platform. I have no problem whatsoever with demos. I have a problem with the sequence through which demos are offered. Make sense? It's a sequencing issue. It's not a messaging issue. Oftentimes, your messaging is fantastic. You're just delivering it too soon. Can you walk us through what you would do as a salesperson on a trade show booth? Absolutely. So people would walk up to me, and I would say, hey, how's it going? Do you have a marketing team of 5 or more people? Yeah, I do. Oh, cool. Are they all pretty much like awesome at digital marketing and stuff? No, they're not. Oh, okay. Well, if they're not, but you have a team already, it would make sense to train and equip that team so that they can be even more effective. I'm always going to first identify where are they? Where are they? The biggest mistake that marketers make is trying to start a conversation. I don't start conversations. I engage with conversations that are already taking place. Again, we get this intuitively as human beings. If you come to a party and there's a group of people that you know standing around a circle, you're not just going to walk up to them and be like, hey guys, so I don't care what you're talking about. Did you see the game last night? If you do that, that's called an asshole. We would never do that in normal human interaction, and yet that's exactly what we do to our customers. Hey, what are you guys talking about? Oh, that's cool. I'll weave it in where it needs to go later on if I discover that what they're talking about right now is relevant to what I would like to talk about. And if it isn't, you know what I'll do? I'll wait. I'll be patient. There's a lot of people out there. My mind is blown. Is your presentation an ideal conversation and preceding act? I want more. Thank you, Mom. I'm here to serve the startup community. Obviously, if somebody wants to give me money, I'll take it. What kind of growth have you seen in your business since you started using these techniques? Great question. Our close rates, when we were going from like, hey, sign up for the demo, one, we were getting very few demo signups because it's, hey, give me some of your time and maybe I'll let you give me more of it and some money later on. So our demo signup rates were not great on that. We were able to, I don't want to throw out numbers, but it was many, many multiples. It wasn't like 30% or 100%. It was like 4 or 5 times the number of prospects that we had coming into the system. Now, they're not as qualified as somebody who signs up for a demo, but I got their number. I had the ability to follow up with them and eventually get them to sign up for a demo. So we were getting way more leads on the front end that we could nurture. And then when we were having the conversation, because we were able to reference a preceding action, because we were able to reference a conversation that they had begun, our close rates went from around 20, 25% to north of 50%. Our salespeople are thrilled. Close rates are great. Close rates are through the roof. And usually when people say no, they're saying no because they don't yet have the team. Like as soon as I hire the first person, here you go, I want it. Holy crap, where'd all those questions come from? Okay, what are your recommended books? Wizard of Ads. Wizard of Ads by Roy Williams. Buy the entire trilogy. I love studying old school radio advertising people because the web mirrors radio a lot and that you need short form. You've got a distracted audience. And Roy was one of the best radio ad men in the world. Stop studying people like me. Start studying the old school people, most of whom are dead. You got to figure it. They were putting like stamps on crap and sending it in the mail and getting people to send them their hard-earned money in an envelope. Those are gangsters, y'all. I'll mention that. I could go on and on and on about books we recommend. I actually did do a blog post. If you want to Google, if you go to digitalmarketer.com, I think last week, I did a post, 5 books all marketers should read but haven't. And so if you want to go look at that reading list. How can you add a call to action on your homepage without causing confusion about your core product? I admit that's a little bit tricky. We don't do the bulk of our conversions through the homepage. All right, so usually on the homepage, it'll be just a broad thing to get people in. I like a message, though, that speaks to the desired end result generically. If you want a good example of that, go to 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Look at what's at the top of their homepage, both the messaging and the imagery, which aligns to it perfectly. It's junk truck moving off, couple going, yeah, and high-fiving. They're always speaking to the desired end result. So speak to the desired end result, have them sign up to get that. How do I start? What's your take on drive? Oh, I already answered that. How do I start the conversation to upsell? Again, it's really simple. It's always, because you did this, the next logical step is this. We're always referencing the previous positive action. So when we're talking about that initial conversion, it's because you signed up for this, because you registered for this, because you attended this, the next logical step is that you buy this. When we're talking about upselling, we're doing the same thing. Because you bought this, the next logical step is that you should buy this next thing because I'm going to speak to the desired end result that you want, not necessarily to what I want. Do I have time for one more question? Okay, one more question. I think I did the trade show booth thing. Yeah, it's conversations, figuring out what they want, what kind of growth. How Have you tried this marketing ideas in an IT consultant provider? If so, I haven't really done it selling to IT consultants, but I'll tell you, if they're human beings, and most of them are, they have problems. They have very specific things that they would like to have. They are talking to the other people that are around them. If you can engage with the conversations that are already taking place, then you can capture attention. If you engage with the conversations that are already taking place, then you can capture and hold attention. If you try to start a new one, you're pushing a rock uphill. I know I didn't get to all of them. I'm happy to shoot a video recording the rest of them if they'll send it to me, but I am out of time. I'll also hang out and be around this afternoon for you guys if you have any questions. Ryan@digitalmarketer.com if you want to ask me questions via email. Thank you again very, very much.